coffee. Give her what she needs and she calling me Poppy.
Roger, always a pleasure speaking with you. Look, my friend, you're like, I can use the quote, internationally known. You are like everywhere in the past, because every time I ever saw any kind of Instagrams or anything like that, you could be in Miami, you could be anywhere around the world. And it looks like the coronavirus is the thing that got you to stay in one spot. Where are you in this world right now, my friend?
So right now, where I live, and I've lived here for about 22 years, is New Jersey, East Rutherford, New Jersey, to be specific. And so, but I'm from Kansas originally. I'm born and raised, and I'll always that'll always be home to me.
But what is it like for you? Because as I said, like, you travel a lot. You perform in a lot of different venues. You, like I said, I see pictures of you, and it's not just like one or two fans. It's a mass of fans and entourage and everything else. What is it like for you now, man, when we got to do this coronavirus shutdown, lockdown, and basically, unless your family or live under the same roof, you're on your own?
Right. It's in a weird way, it's been kind of a paid or unpaid, vacation. But it's been nice to be home and spend some time with the family and just, get that quality time that we don't get, because even when I am home, they're at school, my wife's at work, and by the time they come home in the evenings, we're all just beat and trying to get dinner and get ready for the next day. Or, I try to schedule studio time in the daytime to kind of match my wife's hours. But it doesn't always work that way. So sometimes she comes home and I leave, So this has been a blessing in disguise, really, to be able to spend as much time with them and bond with my daughters as well.
We're going to talk about the new single, but I've talked to a lot of artists about those two things. One, are you going to do things maybe differently now once things are lifted a little bit more in how you connect physically with fans? And also, is your music writing changing because of this?
So as far as what's going to change, I've grown up. I remember a music teacher in high school telling me, he said, "You are the most huggy person I've ever met." I am a hugger. And, so I feel like that's going to change, but I don't think it's going to change so much from my end as it's going to change from my point of view on the other person's feelings. I'm going to take that into account a little bit more. Most of my fans are huggers. One of my fans is a frontliner at Target, not too far from here. And I went in to go get something one day, and I saw her, and we were both like, okay, we got our masks on, we got our gloves on, we said, screw it. We gave each other a hug, So shout out to Naya for being on the front line. But, it's going to depend on the person and the situation. I think that it's going to be more up to them, and probably, honestly, my wife.
Yes.
She's more concerned with everything about this than I am. But not that I don't take it seriously, because I do. But as a mother, there's a whole another level of concern.
Absolutely. And what about the songwriting? I've talked to a lot of artists, and their songwriting has changed in talking about the situation. Has yours changed also?
Not so much, and I'll tell you why. Because, my manager actually just messaged me a couple of days ago, and she's like, "You should write a song about this," And I feel like it's going to be oversaturated. The market's going to be oversaturated with songs about this once it comes out, and so no, it's not changing the way I'm writing. I mean, I'm sure it will influence at some point, somehow, but I don't think it's going to completely change it. I mean, you can't help but be influenced by your current situation, whatnot. But to specifically go out and write a song about this, I think it's just going to be oversaturation. Although one of my friends did write a song with some other artists, and it's the best one that I've heard so far. But I mean, it's what's changed is my ability to be super creative without anyone home. Because even though, listen, I'm the dad, I'm the husband, I'm an artist. I'm still very self-conscious, and I'm still very insecure. And so writing songs is a process for me where I sing bad notes multiple times to find the right notes, where I say gibberish, where I literally sing gibberish until I can pick out the right lyrics that make sounds or make sense for those syllables and in the story that I'm trying to tell. So with everyone home, it's a little bit harder to let go, so to speak. But you know, I still do some writing. It's not what I would typically want it to be.
Are you kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde? When I say that is because when you're on stage and with your fans, your persona is something completely different. It's a beast in music. But as we're talking here, this is the first time I've ever really heard you talk about being the family man and at home and who you are and with your kids and, you know, all of that. Is there a Jekyll and Hyde kind of thing? And I say that, of course, with all the respect in the world.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, there's not. I think from the beginning, I've always put it out there that I'm married and a family man. I remember, you know, my old management team and my wife, when we first started this journey, we went to their offices and sat down and we were having a meeting about what the plan was for the next few months. And my wife had asked, she said, okay, so guys, what do we do about him being married, you know, and letting people know he's married? And everybody sat back from the table like, we're not touching this one, you know. And they said, you know, we know what we want, you know, but it's up to you guys to decide that. And my wife said, I don't think that they should know he's married. You know, I think he's more appealing if he's not. And my answer to that was, I think that I'm more endearing to my fans because I'm married, you know, because I'm not 20-some years old. I'm not a teenager. Like at that point, I was in my late 30s. And I was like, you know, if I'm not, you know, married with kids at this point, something must be wrong with me. So, and I think it's just, it was a way to relate to the fans of that demographic and to just be me, just put it out there. So everyone knows. I don't hide it. My kids and my wife, they're in my Instagram stories, you know, quite a bit. But that's because of where I am in my life. And I think if I have to be who I am, or I'm not being true to myself as an artist.
But you realize, though, you are ageless, right? You realize that you're one of those artists that can relate to whatever that age is, whether it be very young or old school.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. You know, it's cool to see the younger kids, you know, posting, you know, videos and stuff like that of me, and I'm really blessed. And I don't know what it is about me that's gotten people to support me and want to see me do well, but whatever it is, you know, I accept it 100%. I'm thankful. I'm grateful for it. But I think what it is a lot of people see themselves in me a little bit because I started my journey when I was 14 years old. I started a pop group when I was 14. And eventually we ended up getting a record deal and moving out here to the East Coast from Kansas. And things fell apart when I was 24 with the contract, and the group eventually broke up. And we're still best friends to this day, though. But I quit at 24 because I thought I was too old for this business. And then when I got a record deal around 36 or 37, I turned it down for several months because I didn't want anybody to laugh at me. Like, who's going to take, you know, a 36, 37-year-old R&B pop singer serious? And finally, I decided to do it to show my daughters not to give up on their dream. And I did it. And I think at that point, people were like, hey, this guy is not giving up, and look what he's doing, you know. And that first album came out and hit number 62 on the charts. And then, you know, a few years later, my second album hit number 8. So I've been really blessed. And there are a few things that I thank. One, my upbringing and my community back in Kansas, very supportive community, Mexican community, and social media, because I'm reaching, like you said, people all over the world that I would never, ever have met before all of this.
Well, you realize the other blessing, too, is your last name, because I swear it sounds like it should be either a superhero or, you know, some kind of cage fighter or something. I love your last name, man.
My last name, you said?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, oddly enough, I'm wearing a Superman shirt right now. I just finished my workout. I literally just finished my workout, which I also take very important, very seriously. I work out 6 days a week, and I'm doing something that I don't know that anyone, and I mean this completely, that anyone has ever done. And this started off as kind of a challenge mentally, if I could get over every excuse to not miss a workout. And I'm telling you, Rudy, I have not missed a workout, and I document it on Instagram. The last workout, I say I missed it, but it was my off day, was December 31st of 2016. So I've been going for 3.5 years straight, 6 days a week, trying to overcome every excuse not to miss a workout. And so far, so good. So if I got hit by a car a couple of years ago, but I was in the gym the next day, you just have to modify it. I modify my workouts. And they're intense, but I can't overrun my body. So I'm very careful about what I do and how much I do so that I could reach my goal. But, yeah, man, so that's that. So in a way, I guess that kind of the Superman shirt makes sense today.
There you go. And, of course, the goal is for new music. You've got a new single out, man. What's the new single, and what's it called, and what's it about?
So Better Than Coffee is the new song. Oddly enough, it was inspired by a workout that I was doing, and because I this is probably going to turn a lot of people off, but I don't drink coffee, so I don't really like coffee that much. My wife, on the other hand, drinks enough for both of us. But it's I was working out, and I was like, man, I'm awake. And my wife said, she's like, I don't know how you're just so awake. I'm like, man, this is better than coffee. And I thought, man, that's a great title for a song, but I don't want to write it about working out. Like, that's just not going to fly. So I wrote it about other things that adults do in the morning that's better than coffee. And it's a really, smooth, sexy R&B, like I call it ethereal R&B song. And it's a little bit more on the R&B side of what I do. I tend to ride more on the pop line, but I love the song. It's a mature song, an adult song, and people seem to be really liking it.
Wake me up, eyes up, belly open, get on time. Girl, you got me frozen when we ride. Give it, you that Trojan. Wake me up. Nothing like morning sex, nothing like morning sex.
So hopefully everyone can go to Spotify and check it out and or download it on iTunes, whatever suits you. But yeah, that's what the song is really about. I wrote it with two Canadian producers, actually. So we're discussing the international appeal. But I wrote it with two Canadian producers called the Reza Brothers at 80 Empire, and they are two of the most talented guys.
I know them well, and yes, absolutely, they are monsters. So what a combination! What a combination!
Yeah.
And by the way, too, I'm not a coffee guy; I'm a tea guy. So there you go.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go. I'll see. I like some tea. I can handle some tea.
Yeah, I can do that. Are there going to be any maybe live stream performances while we're waiting for, hopefully by next year, live performances will be coming back?
It's yes and no. Right now I'm staying busy with Interaction. Every couple of weeks I do a online, I call it Wednesday night online wine and karaoke with RO. And what we do is we put out complimentary tickets, a link to complimentary tickets. People go download them. And we do that so that we know who to send the Zoom link to. And then we send them the Zoom link. They all log on. We all get dressed up in whatever the theme is. The next one is on the 27th, and it's going to be a boy band edition. So everyone will wear their favorite boy band shirts. I usually open up the show. Well, I always open up the show. It's my show. And I'll come out and do a song, and sometimes I'll add choreography or whatever to make it more of a show. And then we let some people sing. Then I'll do another song. We let some more people sing, and then I do the last song, and we close it out. But it's a really great environment. I'm always surprised at the amount of people that come there just to watch. They don't even want to sing. They just want to watch, But I think it's a great way to build that rapport with them and keep my face out there with them and to see them and to see what they're up to. I do that on every 2 Wednesdays. And I plan on, we're going to keep that up for as long as anybody's interested, And we just have to see, people are going to be going out, and enjoying this weather, hopefully. So, I don't know what's going to happen. But the foreseeable future, that's the plan. I also do a show on Instagram It's kind of a tongue-in-cheek show. It's called Sunday Night Soft Rock with RO. And it's me and then one of my good friends from Kansas, and we get on Instagram together and play soft rock, and we tell stories and we interact with everyone. We have guests. Last week we had a girl try one of my favorite foods to eat is frozen pizza with ketchup on it, and everyone thought it was nasty, and we had her try it live on the show. So I'm just trying to be as creative as possible, while interacting with my fans as well. As far as live performances of my own music, I'm not sure yet. I don't know, what the plan is for that. I'd hope so. Hope we can get something going, but we'll see. We'll see.
Well, you know what? Creativity. This is the time to do it when we got time to do it. But check out everything you just said. Social media is the place to go. Where do we go to follow you on all platforms?
So R&B Pop Writer is you can find me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. It's RNBPOPWRYTR. So R&B Pop Writer is the go-to. Or you just search Roger Ortega, and I'm usually the first person that pops up on all of these platforms. So if not, look for the bald guy or the guy with the hat and sunglasses. I never know what I'm in those pictures.
Yeah, if not, then just look for the guy with the amazing last name. So it all works. Look, my friend, thank you so much for doing this interview with me. Be safe. Hope your families can be safe too. Looking forward to when we can do these interviews in person. But thank you so much for putting out great music while we're all huddled up right now.
Thank you, Rudy. Take care of yourself. Be safe, man, and hope to meet you someday.
Same here, my friend. You take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Nothing like morning sex, nothing like morning sex. Nothing like morning sex, nothing like morning sex.